Well, hello. Welcome to another bonus episode of How We Made Your Mother. A GQ, as we're calling it around the shop.
I think people on the streets, people are really calling it that now. It's really popular. They're calling it the GQs.
They're calling it GQ. Maybe they just don't want to salute. Maybe if you want to avoid the salute, you call it a GQ.
You can develop salute elbow, which is you gotta,
But we all have it. We're all suffering from it.
Yeah. And salute elbow is sort of a general pain all around the
general
lower
pain.
Damn.
But let's do it with our non-dominant elbow. Welcome. This is a general questions.
General questions, of course.
On episode 18, Nothing Good Happens After 2 a.m., we had a great talk about that a couple days ago. I hope you tuned into that. If you haven't listened to it already, maybe go listen to that and then pop back over here. Or you know what? You're the master of your own life.
You're living your own life.
You're living your own life.
You got to do you.
Listen in whatever order you want. But
it's a private choice. You just do it.
No, you're trying to trick us. I don't think they get private. You don't salute private.
Oh, we don't salute private.
I don't do you. It depends what rank we are in our minds.
We're nothing.
Okay, so then we do salute privates. Okay, here we go.
Okay. So, Alec, how were the questions this week for Nothing Good Happens After?
Great stuff, and kind of big stuff, heavy stuff. This episode, as it did for you guys, prompts some big, heavy things and some smaller things. I'm just going to read you a quick story.
This is a drama. This is a drama episode. This one.
This is just someone that has their own. I'm sure you guys have been approached with many of your very own Nothing Good Happens After 2 a.m. kind of stories over the decades. This is a lovely one. Deborah Rose from Facebook says, glad Ted the Liar got what he deserved at the end of this episode. Okay.
Is that my dad? That's from my dad.
Ted the Liar. Wow, here we go. The gloves are off immediately.
Not legendary. Being honest and faithful is a difficult choice and one I've had to make in the past. I saw a lot of parallels to my own experience in this episode. In the end, I made the decision to be truer to my partner instead of sleeping with a rock star. Little did I know that my partner, who was in Australia, broke up with me in a letter that had been mailed but not arrived in the U.S. at the time of my relationship test. So technically, I was already broken up with, but I didn't know it.
Oh my God.
I still kind of regret not hopping on that bass player, but I'm glad I practiced my integrity and good sense. And it was only around 1:30 a.m. anyway.
That is, every part of that letter was exhausting. I needed a nap halfway through that letter. It's a great letter.
A lot of narrative twists and turns. Yeah.
Very juicy.
Well, it's funny that she is so angry at Ted, but she herself is like, I wish I had known, so I could have done it.
I should have banged that bass player.
I should have banged that bass player.
Now my mind is racing. What bass player? We're just now. I'm totally off the rails here.
Like who was it?
It was Flea. Maybe it was Flea.
But that's just.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a flavor of the kind of letters we're...
Sure, that's just a flavor. And I was also saying that for the face, y'all should join the How We Made Your Mother Facebook group.
Is that what that letter was from?
That came right from the Facebook group.
Yeah,
I asked for questions just like 2 hours ago.
Boy, talk about putting some skin in the game. That is a great, that letter was written with all in. Thank you for that. That's amazing.
Well, it's also a nice example of how a show like How I Met Your Mother is hitting on things that that continue to be so perennially relevant and real.
Yeah.
These questions of like, are you in the right relationship?
Yeah.
Can you make long distance work? What if the person you've loved forever kind of comes back and wants to start something, but you're in something else?
Right.
Like these are all like
evergreen
things.
We've all almost had sex with Flea at some point.
But the best stories turn the narrative back on the spotlight back on you and go, when have I been in this situation? How did I behave? Did I make the right move?
If it gets your mind racing, then we did something right. So thank you for sharing your racing mind about this one.
Now, Craig, I heard you on Monday's show gloss over Robin's choice at the beginning of this or end of the previous episode.
Right.
And Kurt K. Tank wants to follow up on that. Every rewatch makes me think more and more that Robin is to blame and has no right to get mad.
Thank you.
Ultimately, she knew exactly what she was doing when she called Ted. Right. Is this the underlying intention of how it's written, or did you purposely leave it up to interpretation? What about Robin?
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's like I feel like all your favorite movies and plays and books, like it's way more interesting if no one's all the way right and no one's all the way wrong, right? It's like this. I think that's what makes it juicy. It's like, boy, she she does sort of walk off on the moral high ground at the end of the episode compared to what Ted has done. But when you remove it, when compared to what Ted has done, she did call him at 2 a.m., feeling very like lonely
knowing
and
he
longing
had a
and
girlfriend.
lost. Knowing at that time they had a girlfriend and he showed up. She doesn't know he's quote unquote broken up with Victoria or got dumped by Victoria, which is not true. She doesn't know that until he's been there for a little bit. And that's what makes it so interesting. Right. I mean, like the end of this season is the new challenge is, how do these two characters get together after this? Or do they? And I think it is interesting to note that Robin was not all the way right here either. And that gave it that left the door open for what comes at the end of season 1.
I also think there's like a human thing where you're like, how close can I get to the rail? Like, how close can I get my finger to the stove without getting burned? Can I just get close enough to feel the heat of it? Right.
Yes.
Like, I think that's what the hug is. It's like, no, we're just hugging. We're friends who are hugging. Oh, this hug's going on a long time, you know? Like,
I think inching up to the cliff.
Yeah, exactly. It's inching up and just peering over it enough to feel that sinking feeling in your stomach that you're about to fall. So I think we test limits in that way. We're trying to maintain plausible deniability while at the same time trying to not be alone or trying to win some affections. Because sometimes I know a guy who, he told me, he said, I wanted this woman to come over kind of late at night. And this is not me, by the way. It sounds like I knew a guy. No, it's really, this is not me. This is a guy I know. He said, I wanted this woman to come over late at night. When she told me I just ordered an Uber, I'm coming over, he immediately wanted her to not come over because all he wanted was for her to say, I'm getting an Uber and I'm coming over. Like, he didn't actually need to see her. He needed to know she would come.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
There are varying degrees of what we need. Like, it's not all about like ending up in bed together. Sometimes we just want the affection or the presence of someone, or for them to look at us a certain way or say certain things to us. Yeah. So I think Robin just like, she needed to be close to him in that moment. And but she was also playing with fire, just like he was.
Yeah. Well, they say that like the fear of heights is the fear of
that you'll lose
control and throw yourself off. Sort of, and it's there's some inching up to that ledge to sort of see what's going to happen on both sides of the equation here, which is what makes it interesting, I think.
And I wrote you this little ditty to sing to you in New York City.
Josh, you were just back recently from the end of your tour. Josh is a wonderful singer-songwriter. We have had Josh on the road on and off for many weeks now on this tour, this Fits and Starts tour that you come back to New York and then you go back out, right?
Yeah, I just come back to record the podcast and then I head back out on the road.
You just come back for 1 hour for the podcast.
Yeah, 1 hour.
Back on the plane. How did it go? How did the last leg of it go?
Yeah, it was good. I did a swing through the Midwest. I started in my hometown of Columbus, Ohio, popped down to Cincinnati, went to a great venue in Evanston, Illinois, in Chicago called Space. That was just delightful, such a fun show. And then I ended in Ann Arbor. And then I did Philly last weekend. Oh, I told you this. We had an engagement at a great, lovely guy named Chris reached out and said, I want to propose to my wife.
For a second, I thought it was you. I thought he proposed to you. Like, you're married, Josh.
Chris wanted to propose to me, and I just went with it. I was so swept up in it.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah, no, Chris wanted to propose to Amanda at my show in Philadelphia. So he reached out to me.
That's amazing, Josh. That's an amazing thing to be part of, right?
It's amazing, yeah. It was my second proposal of the tour. Someone proposed in San Diego.
Unbelievable. Wait, so how do they do it? Do they tell you beforehand? They write you ahead of time. They say, can I come up and do this? Or how does it work?
Chris had a little more forethought than the guy in San Diego. The guy in San Diego saw me walking away. There was a little confusion about the merch. Like, the person who was supposed to sell my merch didn't show up in San Diego. So these two gals, these awesome women, just stepped forward and they were so excited. So I had to set them up with the merch. So the crowd had already started filtering in. And so I was kind of trying to sneak away, get back to the green room. And this guy snagged me and he's like, Josh, I want to propose to my girlfriend at your show. can I do, when do I do it? And I said, I'll cue you. I was just like, I'll tell you when. so after I sang the song, Apocalyptic Love Song, I gave him
great song.
Right? I gave him and so he just got down on the knee and in the midst of the crowd. It was
in the crowd.
In the crowd, yeah. In Philly, Chris wanted to come up on stage. Like he wanted to bring Amanda on stage. I kind of didn't know how to do it, except he requested this song of mine called Sober Love, which is like a deep cut Radner song. I've never recorded it, but it's on YouTube.
Wow.
And he wanted me to play the song. So I dusted off this song. I hadn't played it in a long time. But I had the lyrics and I didn't have a music stand. I just had like a stool and I'm 50. So I need the lyrics a little closer.
Yes.
So I said, Chris, is Chris out there? And I said, will you come up and just hold these lyrics so I can read? So he was already on stage and I sang the song. And then I said, where's Amanda? I said, I don't remember how it happened. I have a video of it. I'll post it on Instagram. Amanda came up and he got down on the knee and he proposed and she cried and said yes. And then I have a thing called Welcome to Your Show, this opening song that I sing. And one of the lyrics is, you never know what'll happen at a Josh Radnor show. So after after she said yes, I leaned to the mic. I said, you never know what'll happen at a Josh Radnor show. And it's true.
That's amazing. So Chris kind of planned out this amazing engagement. Let me ask you, were you using your planner brain for when you were on the road? Well,
I had to plan where I was going to go and where I was going to stay. What do you mean?
No, I know that part. You thought of that part, but do you think about your apartment back home?
Well, why? No, the apartment back home.
What was happening with this apartment back home?
It was just sitting here, Craig. It was just sitting here gathering dust.
You could have been making some extra cash by hosting your place on Airbnb.com. Boom. You make the same mistake over and over again. You have these wonderful adventures. People go proposing to their girlfriend on your stage. That's all well and good, but you've got to get on what's happening.
Do you know who would never make this mistake?
Who?
Chris.
Chris would never, because Chris thinks ahead. He knows.
Chris thinks ahead. He's a planner.
He plans the engagement. Your home could be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
Brian Del Pozo, also from Facebook, says, it's relatively rare to see a sitcom have the lead protagonist act in quite such an unequivocally wrong way as Ted does. Was there pushback, either from the members of the show's creative team, the cast, or the network?
I mean, no. I think the studio and the network, they were pretty cool about realizing, like, this is juicy. This is drama. We know Ted loves Robin. Ted is not just trying to hook up and have a one-night stand. He does have deep, real feelings for her, which I don't agree with the word unequivocally in that question. I appreciate the question. I think it's a smart question. And I think it's a question, it's true. Most sitcoms don't show this, right? This feels more like a drama, this one, in a good way, I think. But it's not unequivocally wrong. Ted is not. I think we've made the case for 17 episodes prior to this 18th episode that this is not unequivocally wrong. That's my take.
I mean, two things. One is it's Robin. Right, like that catchphrase he invokes to let himself Robin out of jail all the time. It's Robin. I can throw out the plan. I can throw out my ethics. But the other thing that really strikes me is, like, he keeps telling his kids, "This is the worst thing I ever did."
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think you could go through the series and maybe this isn't the worst thing he's ever done.
It's almost certainly not.
It's almost certainly not. It might not be in the top 5 of, like, when you get in the last analysis, like, if you were ranking his worst moments. You know?
I think that's right.
But he does present this to his kids and thus to the audience as, your old man screwed up. Like, this was not my finest hour. And I think that gives him a little cover.
Yeah, I agree. And I think nothing's unequivocal, I think, in life. That's what I'm trying to say. I think nothing's unequivocal, which is why this episode hits, because everybody is at moments like this. And this idea that you kind of are, it's almost like a werewolf narrative, too. We said it's sort of a suspense movie. It's sort of a ghost movie. It's also a werewolf narrative. It's like that full moon. Watch out for that full moon. Do not feed those cute little mogwai is that the right word? After midnight. They're going to become gremlins. Like, there's almost something supernatural about 2 a.m. and about late night decision making. We've all done it. Everyone has done it. In some category or multiple categories, someone has had a night they look back on, they go, that was not my best decision making. That was not my best self. And it's universal. And that's why I think it's not unequivocally wrong. It's actually very human.
And it almost feels like your 20s are the decade designated for those kinds of screw ups. Like, because you have to figure, it's like that phrase, you don't know what enough is until you've had more than enough.
Yes.
Like you're testing boundaries, like you're testing your own boundaries. Like, what would it be like? What's it like to drink, 13 beers and try to go to work in the morning? Like, it didn't work. Not good. Like you've got to try to figure out like who you are and what your kind of recipe is for living. And your 20s are where you really experiment in ways that are sometimes disastrous and oftentimes illuminating. Yeah,
but make it for a good story.
Brian continues this question. It's I think a really great writing question. He says, also, do you feel the show's unique framing device, essentially allowing future Ted to judge his actions from 30 years in the future, softens the blow of 2005 Ted's douchey behavior?
It doesn't work without the narrator. It doesn't work. There's no episode. This whole show doesn't work without the narrator, but Nothing Good Happens After 2 a.m. is a retrospective thought. You know what I mean? Ted's ignoring that in the moment. And it is older, wiser advice from his own mother, Courtney Kang's mother, actually. The art writer Courtney Kang's mother used to say that to her. And he's, future Ted is now more like what his mom's age was, probably when she was telling him that, or older. And so it only worked. The whole episode only works, I think, because of that. So I think it is a good observation, and it would be a totally different feeling if we didn't have that.
Joe Lefevre, also from Facebook, was hot today. Okay. What was the inspiration behind Victoria? The idea that Ted follows the risk-reward pathway in regard to a potential new feeling of love is very symbolic of how the dating scene is. You never really know who you're meeting, which I guess is what they were trying to cut out, the idea of not having to know. This episode really lays down the fundamentals of Ted being so blinded by love and having so much to work on in that department. In a way, we've all been Ted as we learn the right kind of love and grow.
That's a good point. I think current day Ted is imagining some wonderful future that is so wonderful it will justify dubious behavior in the present. He's using the future to pay for now. It is like bad. It's sort of bad finance. It's like, we're gonna be rich in the future so we can run up debt now.
Well, it's almost like utopianists who will justify horrifying, human rights abuses because they're fighting for, the better world, right?
It's sadly not that far off from that. They're like sort of delusional. It'll all be so great. It'll justify this.
Ted is basically he's the Idi Amin of the sitcom characters.
Oh man, there's your quote. There's your blurb for the show.
This is one that actually, I'm going to say it to you guys. It's probably a Steve Olson question. So, hi, Steve. We know Steve is listening. Who what was his title? Production designer?
Our production designer, Steve,
designer. So I love
Emmy-winning.
You get so many perspectives on who is watching the show and who is getting what from it. Here's one that I just enjoyed from Jessica Wallace XOX, who I believe has commented on many things on Instagram, but takes this one personally. This is back on Drumroll Please. A lot of people wrote about a lot of the Victoria episodes here. I'm a wedding planner, and I've got to know, what's the budget for the sets for episodes with weddings? I see the floral arrangements and such, and I know how expensive these things are, and I wonder how it works for a fake wedding for a show. We see that weddings they look very high end for their time. Do you know what the episode cost?
Wait, not this episode? We're back to Drumroll Please now on this one?
She's a lot of these questions covered several of the Victoria ones. Also, and I think someone else pointed out, who invites their wedding baker to the wedding to sit as a guest.
Well, we know in the episode, the wedding cost $400,000.
It was,
which is outrageously expensive, especially 20 years ago.
It was crazy. I was very surprised by that price, especially. And I would say that what we shot did not look like it cost that much, whatever it cost. But it just looked like a wedding.
It looked like a conference room at any old hotel. Yeah.
It looked like a hotel. I mean, it looked good. It worked, but it didn't necessarily look like the most lavish wedding. No. But yeah, we had to weigh those ideas all the time. You know, when I thought of this within this Victoria run is the joke in Life Among the Gorillas, I guess, where Ted falls asleep on the phone with Victoria, right? And I remember thinking, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, it would have been funny. As I was watching it, the other day, it would have been funny to cut to Ashley on the other end of that call, hearing Ted snoring, right? And in Germany. And I thought, we should have done that. And I thought, that would have cost $30,000, that joke, right? We would have had to book Ashley Williams for an episode and pay her fee. We would have to create, I don't know, her apartment in Germany that she's in, or the Culinary Institute she's going in. That would have been a five-figure joke. That would have been tens of thousands of dollars for one joke. And that's why we didn't do it. Yeah. And we were not a big hit. This was season 1. Later in season 5, season 6, the show hit syndication. And we were like, hey, we want to do this one cutaway that costs $25,000. Maybe when you're a hit. Yeah. Not when you're in season 1.
Well, there's also so much about television, like your character could be contracted for 7 out of 13, not for all of them.
Yes.
And you go, it's almost like, I think maybe he ended up in all of them later, but I don't know if like Buster was in all of the first 13 of Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Because that deal was like a 7 out of 13 or a 10 out of 13. And people go, well, why wasn't Buster in there? It doesn't make sense. It's like, well,
there was a deal. There
was a deal in place, right?
It's financial reality. And it's true. We didn't have Ashley booked for that episode, but wanted to keep Victoria alive just to get to where we've gotten to in this episode, and to get the feeling of long distance. Having her not be seen was a good feeling to have there in a way.
It helps the narrative that she becomes a little bit of a fading kind of vision.
Yes. Ted says, I don't remember. Right. In that episode, I don't quite remember her face, which actually felt like a very real thing.
Finally, James Schmosby, who sends in a lot of great questions on Instagram.
I can't believe that's his last name.
That's incredible.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? James says, as we're closing to the end of season 1, back when filming and production took place, were you excited approaching the end of this first season, or nervous about the future of the show? Where were you in your head, if you could remember, at this time?
We knew we had a season 2, I think, didn't we, Josh? Or maybe we found out a little later in season 2. We knew before the end of shooting that we had a season 2.
It might have been around this time where we got to season 2 pickup. I remember you guys would kind of come down to set and it looked like ominous, but you guys didn't seem upset. And then you, Pam, and Carter would kind of like stand and gather the crew around for just a quick burst, right? And you say, just want to let you know that we are coming back for next season, and everyone would hug.
The best feeling in the world. Did that happen by episode 18, or was it right past? I don't remember, but somewhere around here we found that out. But did that make us not scared and feel like we were fighting for our lives at all times? No, that lasted for years. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Well, some of these euphoric bursts of joy in showbiz are so short-lived. Like, it's like maybe it'll last till the end of the day, and then you're just back to your set point.
You're back.
Yeah.
And finally, is Buttercup a real bake shop in New York?
No.
That's all we have time for today.
Well, look, I thought we were thinking of Magnolia Bakery. If we're thinking anything, probably thinking about Magnolia
and
Bakery.
And probably a little nod to Princess Bride.
Yeah, I think so. We're huge There's many Princess Bride references in Himium throughout, so I think probably we were nodding to that, because that is, God, that's a good movie. God, those are good cupcakes, Magnolia. I'm going to go order some and watch that movie right now. Thanks, everybody.
I am guilty. Please acquit me. All sins are forgiven. In New York City.
How We Made Your Mother is hosted and executive produced by Josh Radnor and Craig Thomas. The show was produced by me, Alec Lev, and our co-producer is Doug Matica. Our audio producer and mixer is Alex Reeves at Point of Blue Studios, and our digital content producer, aka Gen Z Master, is Emily Blumberg. Artwork by John Morrow. Please follow, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really does help the show. Our theme song is NYC by our own Josh Radnor, with additional music by Craig Thomas and Andrew Majewski. Special thanks to Lola Kennedy and Elliot Connors. Visit howwemadeyourmother.com to sign up for our Substack mailing list and for links to our social media. You can also click on the contact page to send us an email or a voice message. Your stories and questions are an important part of the show. Want some merch? Click on the store link or go to howyougetyourmerch.com. Subscribe to Josh Radnor's Muse letters on Substack, Order Craig Thomas's debut novel at craigthomaswriter.com/novel. And you can subscribe to my Dead Fathers Society, also on Substack. To learn about how you make a difference, this show's ongoing campaign to raise money for congenital heart disease research, check out the Make a Difference tab at the top of our website. This episode was made possible by the support of Backyard Ventures. People will, in fact, dance.
The real question, it just hit me. Am I in love with you, or just New York City?